Hello guys, welcome back. I'm your host, Linux Sinape, and today we're going to be going over a few Git commands. That way you can move files and repos back and forth from your server to your code repository. This is very important. Very important to know whenever you're working with repos, Linux servers, so on and so forth, all right? So we're just going to go over a few commands here. Make sure you get your practice in on these commands once we're finished. As always, please visit links.jaquezingram.online. All of this information that I show you is public. And without further ado, let's get started. So first you want to navigate to your code repo. All right. So let's come over here to the Jaquez Ingram Online repo that we were working with. And let's start with git clone. So what git clone does, git clone actually takes a repo and clones it onto either your Linux server, your host machine, so on and so forth. I like to clone repos on my host machine whenever I doing some testing, right? And then I will move either with FileZilla from the host machine to the Linux server and then push to the code repository. There's a number of ways you can do it. We can go over a little bit of all of that. So the first thing you want to do, well, what we're going to do, we're going to clone this repo onto our host machine. All right. So what you want to do is click code, copy the URL. All right. So let's exit out of the server for a second and let's find us a good place to place this repository. All right. So how about we put it on the desktop? All right. That way we can go right to it and check it out. All right. So now let's run git clone and paste the URL. Now, when you're working in a Linux server, copy and paste isn't just Control C, Control V. It'll actually be Control Shift V, and then it'll paste the repo. All right. Now, normally you'll be prompted for your username and password, which let's see. Yeah, I've already entered mine and saved them in the system, so I won't be prompted. We'll definitely go over that in another video. All right. So let's allow it to go through the full process. It may take some time, so I'll just pause the video here and I'll check back in once we're finished. All right, let's come back to our server. Looks like everything was cloned, everything was finished. So what we want to do is navigate to our desktop to see if we have it there. As you can see it there. And if we come to our desktop, we should see the folder, which is right here. All right, so that's the git clone command, right? Very useful when you want to bring things onto your host machine or bring things directly to your server whenever you want to do some testing or make changes, so on and so forth. All right, so let's go ahead and clear our screen and let's go back into our server and we'll go over a few more git commands. All right. All right, let's reset. Let's cd back into the Jaquez Ingram Online directory. Let's ls, and we see the current components of this directory. So let's go back over to the code repository, and we're gonna work with the git pull command. All right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add a file. Let's do new file. Let's call this deleteme.txt. And we're going to come down here in markdown language and type delete me after running the git pull origin master command. All right. So let's go ahead and commit changes. Let's save that. All right. As you can see, the file was made. And we see it's in our repo here, but it's not in our repo on the server. So how are we going to get it from the code repo to the server? What we're going to do is run git pull origin master. And the reason why we have master here is because that is the name of our branch. All right, it's master. So yours may be main, but you want to make sure that whatever you're pulling is in the correct branch. All right. So let's go ahead and run this command. As we can see, we have one file that changed, deleteme.txt. All right, so it's ls, and as you can see, The deleteme.txt file is now here, and we were able to pull it directly from our code repository. All right. Now, let's say we have changes that we need to push to the code repository, right? So let's say we pull the delete me file, we did what we needed to do with it, and let's say we need to delete it, right? Real quick command rm-rf delete me.txt, right? That's ls. We see that's gone, right? So as you remember in the last video, I actually showed you that we put all the commands in one place in order to push this repo from the server to the code repository. But I'll show you that again. So let's cd out of here and let's nano the bash rc. So if we scroll down to the push command, here are the commands that we're going to be running. So normally if you wanted to do it manually, you would run this command first, git add space period, right? Press enter. After that, you would run git commit -m quotation with a commit message, close quotation, and then you would press enter. Then you would run git push origin, right? So what I did was in the bash rc file, as you can see how easy that makes it, what we actually did was shorten this into a simple push command. All right, so let's go ahead and get out of here. Let's ls. Let's go back into our repo. Let's ls again, see what's going on. So from here, we're going to hit push. One file change, one deletion, as you can see, showed you what was deleted. All right, and when you come down here, looks like everything finished, went to the right branch. So now we want to come over here to our code repo, hit refresh, and we see the delete me.txt file is now gone. So just a way that you can push and pull from the repo or to the repo, right? Whenever you need to make changes, edits, and updates to your repository. All right, very simple, very efficient, very easy, very secure. All right, and that was pretty much it for today's video. So you guys make sure you're getting into the server, running those git commands. Once again, I'm your host, Anixanape, and I'll see you next time.